Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to a Stiff Receipt. Today we've got another WWE2k23 video. So, after the full roster reveal, yesterday or the day before, I do not remember, I think it was a couple days ago, we did a video on all of the new additions to the roster and all of that. So I figured today we would go down the list and see who all was removed from 2K22 and why that may be. The first on that list of removals was Alexander Wolf, who was in NXT. He was actually part of one of the mass NXT releases. He never ended up getting rehired. It looks like he's doing stuff in the indies now in some German Wrestling Federation, WXW. Second on that list was Arya Daivari. He is now doing work for AEW, so obviously not gonna be on the roster. Next up on the list is Brian Kendrick. Now, if you were unfamiliar with what went down with Brian Kendrick, he got a release from WWE, and he was going to make his AEW debut. And then I guess some old footage of him saying some pretty messed up stuff leaked, and then because of that, his AEW debut was scrapped, and we kind of haven't heard from him since. So Cesaro is next on the list, another one from the last game that has moved on over to AEW under the name Claudio Castagnoli. Then we got Danny Burch, another one of the NXT guys that was released and never rehired. Also absent from the roster this year. A Fandango. I'm gonna be real. I forgot that he was even in the last game. But he's not in the game now. I believe Fandango is now doing stuff in Impact. Next up, we got Grand Metalik. And all of the Lucha House Party guys are absent. I believe Grand Metalik was seen doing stuff in AEW and Ring of Honor, some within the last year or so, so he won't be in the game. Swerve is next on the list, and as most people I'm sure know, Swerve from Hit Row went over to AEW. I feel like Swerve has been on such a roll here on AEW as of late. He's really killing it over there. Obviously not going to be in the new game. Which is what I find kind of funny is Swerve was really the only part of Hit Row that was worth a shit, and now we've got like the bad part of Hit Row, which has just been a constant miss every single week. And on top of that, they're not even in the game at all. They're just not even in the game. Jeff Hardy, another unfortunate one, as I think most people know. Jeff Hardy went over to AEW and then got in some trouble again with his addictions, and he had a handful of matches and has been gone off TV ever since. Hopefully Jeff Hardy is getting his life straightened out and getting everything together, and hopefully we'll see him in the ring soon. John Morrison removed the game. John Morrison has been appearing just all kinds of different places, doing indie stuff. He's been in AEW, and he's in the YouTube Creator Clash 2. So he seems to be busy, just not in the WWE. So not in the game. Kalisto removed from the game. Keith Lee, another big name that went over to AEW. I still can't process what was going through their minds releasing Keith Lee. Kushida actually has gone over to New Japan to do stuff. No longer working for WWE, so not in the game. Kyle O'Reilly, another big name that went over to AEW. Kyle O'Reilly, not only is he at AEW, he's also been on injury for, I think, close to a year or so at this point. Hopefully we see some in-ring return of Kyle O'Reilly here soon, but it obviously will not be in the game. Lince Dorado, just like the other Lucha House Party guys, not in the game, obviously. Machine Gun Kelly, not in the game. Don't know that that's really upsetting to literally anybody, but yeah, not in the game. Well, Mr. T Again, who asked for Mr. T? I can't be bothered to care. Mr. T, not in the game. Murphy, he's gone on to do, he's done a lot of indie stuff, but he's also doing stuff in AEW with House of Black. So again, not in the game. Oni Lorcan, like his partner, was released, not in the game. Papa Shango, not in the game. Ric Flair is just not in the game, which I thought that was a little strange. Like, how can you have a wrestling game and not have Ric Flair in it? That seems very odd, but whatever. Road Dogg, not in the game. I don't think that's gonna be a sad omission for most people, but for the rare Road Dogg fan out there, I'm sure that might be a bummer to hear, but not in the game. Roderick Strong. Just an unfortunate situation for poor Roderick Strong. As I've said in other videos, Roderick Strong has been wanting out of his WWE contract for some time now, and they just won't acknowledge that. So he's kind of just stuck rotting his WWE contract away before he can go out and do anything else. So Samoa Joe, not in the game. Also another big name that moved on over to AEW, current TNT and Ring of Honor television champion over there in AEW. So Samoa Joe is absolutely killing it over there. Slapjack, I believe, got released. He's doing stuff in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla New Japan, I believe, under the name Shane Haste. Timothy Thatcher, not in the game. He was released, I believe, as well during one of the big NXT releases and whatnot. Besides doing stuff in Pro Wrestling Noah, since then, he has made an appearance on AEW as well. Trent Seven, removed from the game. I believe he got released as well. Trent Seven, I believe, was seen doing some stuff in AEW. Outside of that, I'm not sure what has happened with him. Tucker, removed from the game. Tucker was a weird one because I feel like he hasn't been on a WWE employee for like a couple of years now. I don't know what he's doing now, but he got released long while ago. So the fact that he actually even made it into the last game was kind of impressive. Tyler Breeze is the next that is omitted from the last game. It looks like Tyler Breeze, from what I could tell, they released him and Fandango, I believe, released around the same time because they had their tag team and whatnot. But it does appear that Tyler Breeze is actually now working at the Performance Center and as a trainer. So technically still WWE, but not as an active wrestler. And last up is William Regal. William Regal, I think we'll see him. We probably won't see in this game as DLC, but we'll probably see him back in the next game. William Regal, for those of you who don't know, released from WWE and then was picked up by AEW. And he had a good run as the manager of the Blackpool Combat Club, and then did some stuff with MJF. And then he asked if he can be laid out of his contract because he wanted to go back to WWE so he could be around some of his friends, and he can be with his son, who's currently in NXT, who is not currently on. His son is currently not confirmed to be on the roster for the new game, which is a little unfortunate. As far as the women wrestlers removed, Billie Kay, she's gone over to Impact. As I was said in the last video, Candice LeRae is not in the game, which is just crazy to me that she's not in the game. She was in the last game, and like during that period of time, she was on leave. So the fact that they didn't just port that model at the very least over to the new game was a little strange to me. So I do, however, think that Candice LeRae is like the top pick for a women's DLC pack in future season pass stuff. So I think there's almost 100% chance we'll see Candice LeRae in the game as DLC. Ember Moon went on over to AEW under the name of Athena and is currently actually the Ring of Honor Women's Champion over there. So she's not in the game. Lana has been removed from the game. Mandy Rose was removed from the game. Mandy Rose, we talked about it in the podcast. Mandy Rose was let go because of some spicy content website that she wasn't supposed to have because of her WWE contract. So there's been a lot of drama with that, but she ended up getting released from WWE. I do think she'll probably be back in WWE eventually. I could only assume. They just kind of got to wait for everything to die down a little bit with all that, and then I'm sure she'll be back. She won't be in the game, and I doubt we'll see her as DLC. Mia Yim, another weird omission from the game for me, because she's in WWE, back in WWE now. Like Candice LeRae never left. She was just on leave, but Mia Yim, again, that would have been a really easy one for them to just port over. So, Mickie James, I feel like has always gone back and forth between Impact and WWE pretty much her whole career. Mickie James, I believe, is now the current Impact Women's Champion. Naomi, that's not a surprising one either. Naomi and Sasha Banks, if you don't know, they had a tag team title run and they weren't happy with things and they refused to work. They refused to come out and do their jobs, so they ended up getting like suspended or whatever, and then the titles got vacated, and their contracts and what they're gonna do has been up in the air ever since. Sasha Banks has been seen doing stuff in New Japan, and Naomi just recently changed all of her social media stuff from Naomi to Trinity, her real name. So it's not looking like she's going to be coming back to WWE at least anytime soon. Nia Jax, not in the game. I don't think anybody's too upset about that, if I'm being honest. Nia Jax did make a surprise return in the Royal Rumble match. I do think that was a one-time thing, though. I don't think we'll see Nia Jax back regularly. Nia Jax, especially given the Royal Rumble thing, it is possible that we could see her in like a women's DLC pack in the future, but I don't know. Peyton Royce, Saray, Sasha Banks. I already talked about Sasha Banks. She's doing stuff in New Japan now. Tegan Nox is another weird one. Now that I'm going through this removed women's list, there's several on here that seem super strange to me. Tegan Nox is another strange one because I feel like she's been doing stuff on the main roster. Like, she's been good. I don't think she's gone anywhere. I don't think she was rehired. I could be wrong. So it seems odd to remove her from the list. And then last up, Toni Storm. She went on over to AEW. She's actually doing some big stuff in AEW right now. I think she's one of the top people over there in the women's division currently. Ex-women's AEW women's champion. All right, and as far as DLC goes, now we know that there'll be DLC packs. We don't know who's gonna be in those DLC packs, obviously, but I think as far as a list of most likely DLC characters that we could see, I think one of the top ones is probably Hit Row. You know, if you're a Hit Row fan, great, I guess. Not a big Hit Row fan, I'm gonna be real. It is, I do think it's weird that they didn't include them in the game. They probably were just a little bit late with a return to be added to the game, but I imagine we'll probably see Hit Row at some point. I think the biggest one that there's a pretty high chance that we'll see as DLC is Bray Wyatt. The fact that Bray Wyatt wasn't already in the game was pretty wild to me. I figured even though Bray, his return was later in the year last year, like they could have poured over his character and like really prioritized getting him in the game, because I felt like that would be like a big important thing, right? Kind of like the Cody Rhodes debut. But maybe they didn't want to overshadow Cody Rhodes being added to the game. I think we could see Bray Wyatt as a DLC. I think there's a pretty high chance. Another one was Bronson Reed. I think Bronson Reed would be another good addition. He returned probably the latest out of everybody, so it's not surprising that he's not in the game, but I think he would be a good addition with a DLC pack. Candice LeRae, we already talked about Candice LeRae. I guarantee you we'll see her in DLC. I just don't see any reason to not. Emma was another one that returned late last year. I think if they do have like a women's DLC pack, I think Emma will be part of it. I think we'll have Emma, Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, like B-Fab, like all of those I think would be in like a full women's pack. Another one was the Good Brothers, who also returned late last year. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They were actually in WWE2k20, the infamous WWE2k20. So they could definitely have, like, I don't know, they could port their models over from that and work from there. I guess they, you know, I would say there's probably a high likelihood of that being DLC. Would love to see them in the game, so hopefully we get that. Mia Yim, as I already talked about, I think Mia Yim would and Tegan Knox would both be good like DLC packs, or good in a women's DLC pack. So, but I think that about does it. What do you guys think about the omissions of this year? I think most of the omissions from the roster this year are obvious. There were like a handful of surprises that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But as you know, also we got the DLC to look forward to in the future, so I guarantee a lot of those names will be saved for that. Are you guys gonna be picking up WWE2k23 at launch? Let me know in the comment section below. That's gonna do it for this video. If you have not subscribed yet, you should definitely do so. Like the video if you enjoyed. We'll have more WWE2k23 news as it comes out, and AEW Fight Forever when stuff comes out about that. Just not a lot has happened with that here lately. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Peace out, take it easy, have a good one, and I will catch you guys next time.